There's our boy, 3D. He can do it all. That's right. It's not just shooting paradise. It's not just players only, baby. That's what 3D could do. How you think he knocked all those three down? It was that footwork.
He got the move.
Yeah,
you know?
Yes, sir, baby.
We joined our man 3D, who's out in Oakland for the second game of our doubleheader, the Knicks against Golden State. 3D, this is the first time in the Steve Kerr era that the Warriors have lost 3 games in a row with Curry. What's going on?
Bottom line is, guys, they're going for their 5th finals in a row. Talking to Steph off camera, he says, I appreciate a guy like LeBron James has done it 8 times. So now we're taking a new group of characters. First time around, we had Harrison Barnes and the Brazilian Blur and Barbosa, guys like that. Then the second time around, you have David West and Zaza Pachulia and Nick Young. And now you have Jerebko and a whole cast of new guys. So deep down inside, Kevin McHale, Isaiah, you guys have won back-to-back championships. I only made it to 1 final, so to see a team try to go to 5 of them, C-Web, it's all mental right now, getting everyone on the same page. I think after the All-Star break, and also, too, to talk about some guy named Cousins is coming back sometime soon.
He's pretty good, I heard.
Oh, yeah, he's pretty good, I heard, too, yeah.
You know, 3D, when you say it's all mental, you know, we understand how difficult it is to keep going back to the finals every year, as often as Golden State is trying to do. And, you know, the concentration level to me is what really got to me in terms of slippage. And what that means is, you know, turnovers, you know, just boredom. There are no more big games. How do you get up? I mean, every opponent that comes in, it's a big game for them, but there are no more big games for you. The only big game that may be for the Warriors is if they get to a 7th game in a playoff series, and then that's a big game for them. But they've seen everything. So how are they finding ways to get themselves motivated and get through this malaise?
Well, Steve Kerr said it best after shoot-around today. It's up to them within inside to bring it out. I talked about all the new faces they're trying to get acclimated to winning championship basketball. But the core guys who've been around, they understand that mentally they have to dig a little deeper. And Isaiah, you hear around here the lackadaisical turnovers, the second and third shots on offensive rebounds they normally never give up. But I say it again. Mentally, 5 times in a row trying to get to the mountaintop is pretty hard. But I think deep down inside, they're preparing themselves for a deep run again.
You know, Dennis, the guy that I'm interested in watching is Green. You know, he missed some games, so he's not going to be tired or bored. He's just trying to get his rhythm. He has not played well yet. I just haven't seen a lot of Draymond Green type games where he controls the flow. He has 8-9 assists, 10-12 rebounds, 10-12 points, but just controls the game. What's up with him? And he just appears to me to be struggling right now.
Well, it's funny you say they came back. He talked about when he came back from the injury a few games ago that he was going to start attacking more. And I think he got caught up in the routine. And C-Web, you'll love this. What do you mean routine? Well, when you have 3 flamethrowers, you kind of pass one, you pass to another one, you kind of take your time. And then the defense says, you know what? Until you start making shots, we're going to start, you know, concentrating on those flamethrowers. So I look for Draymond to be a little more aggressive now to try to get some easy layups and knock down a few wide open shots because he knows he still has 3 flamethrowers to fall back on.
You know, 3D, is that the senior dance team behind you?
Oh, yeah. You got to, hey.
Yeah, they get it popping.
You got to go slow with it. You got to go slow with it.
You know?
Yeah, then you got to get them to spin around one time like that. Hey. Bounce back to it like that. Hey.
3D. One more question.
You see what I mean?
Is there, I heard that Cousins had a full practice, and you just mentioned him. And we saw the tape on Instagram of him dunking on Durant, and I've said many times that I've thought that he was the best big man in the league. That was pre-injury. Have you heard anything about his status? Is there a time that we expect to see him again? And secondly, do you know if he's worried about, I guess, mobility once you damage your Achilles?
First thing, C-Web and guys, the injury is 100% healed. Second thing, he has gone down with the G League and practiced with those guys, had 3 good practices. Thirdly, we all know this. He's trying to get his basketball legs because the new NBA today is very few practice with all the games they have. And lastly, it's not going to be 25 and 15 cuz. It's going to be the new focus cuz playing with a championship caliber team that knows they need him, they want him, and he wants to be here. So it's going to be fun once they pull the trigger. No exact date because they don't want to put that pressure on him, but he's coming soon. He looks good, guys.
Thank you so much, 3D. We'll catch up with you later. Have fun up there in the town, baby.
Hey,
Hey, don't get too stiff. You might get some treatment before the game. I know that knee still ain't. They messed up. Thank you, 3D.
Yeah, you're gonna pop an Achilles.
Yeah, 3D, he still got it. If you check him on his Instagram, boy, he can still shoot it. And guys, you know, in recent history, I think about Rasheed Wallace. I remember Joe D telling me, well, when we get him, we're going to win. And I remember thinking, like, wow, if you get him, you are. And I remember the media and the fans saying, no, but I understand they didn't know. I understood that they didn't know. Would I be fair to say that it happened with you guys, that special spark was McGuire? And if so,
yes.
I'd love to hear from you, Kevin, about that. But being the Warriors, you need this. You talk about the Malays. You had already won championships. Can you talk about any time a new piece came, whether it was to help you get your championship or to take you over the hump? What was it like for that team?
That new piece for us and that new piece for the Warriors that they depended on will give them that little extra energy, that little extra hunger, keyword hunger, that they don't have anymore.
Win one for this guy, too.
Yeah, they don't have, you know, in February, you know, in January, you don't have that extra energy to dive on that loose ball to win this game, you know, and yeah. I mean, you just don't have it.
Right.
You are dependent on the new guys to come in and give you that extra. Now, if the new guy can come in and then give you 12 points, you don't need 20.
Right.
We just need 12 to get over the hump, because right now, when we lose by 4. We in close games,
right.
You know. But if we had another 8 points, right? Okay, this is a blowout.
Yeah.
We good.
Yeah.
And that's what Cousins will give them. He'll give them blowout material.
You know, we had one championship in '84, lost in '85 to the Lakers. In '86, we got Bill Walton. Summer of '85, we got Bill. Bill came there, and we had all played a lot together. We had a style. We moved, cut, did a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Bill loved it. Bill, like, you know, Bill stuttered back then. Bill, like, oh, I love playing with you guys.
Yeah.
Everybody just moves around, you know.
Yeah.
And so it was fun because, you know, you passed, you cut, you moved, and that's how we played. And he reinforced it every night. Like, you know, every night he would just go like, I love playing basketball with you guys,
Right,
you know.
right.
And it made it fun. We all kind of laughed. We were taking it for granted, you know, because you just play a style. But he had come from a team that didn't move the ball a lot.
Yeah.
And the Clippers are not winning it all.
Yeah.
And so he just brought an unbelievable influx of energy to our team.
Yeah.
And it was just fun because, yeah, he was so unselfish. He didn't care if he scored. He just passed and just moved the ball and, you know, played defense and rebounded. But it was fun. So he did. He infused us with a bunch of enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm.
My last point, I talked about Green. You know, I'm seeing Green. When I coached, my biggest fear was putting 2 on Steph Curry too long, throw back to Green, and Green going downhill. Because he could just find shoot. He's not playing downhill
But you
at all.
know why I think he's not playing downhill? And a GM said this to me the other day, and because I was saying Draymond is, and he said to me, where has he gotten better? I would ask both of you that.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is now, if he's at the top of the key, instead of me being out there and denying you, now what I do is I drop back 15 feet like playing Ben Wallace, and you can't go downhill. I'm downhill waiting for you. And
Yeah.
a GM said that to me, and I was stunned because, you know, I didn't know where. And I know he has more heart and passion than anyone else, but that's why I want to see how does he handle that. We saw the last game where, you know, 4 or 5 air balls from the three-point range, and that's because now, you know, you can't improve during the season. I always tell people, you improve in the offseason. So to try to find your shot now, that's really what I wonder. How are they going to get together? How are they going to play that? I know he's going to try to get other guys involved, but now I'm just hugging up on him. I'm not going for the dribble handoff. I'm staying on my man, and if you lay it up, good job, and if you don't, you know, we're going down. So
yeah, that's interesting because, you know, you used to be able to, like I said, your biggest fear is he'd set that top of the key 3-point line pick, middle screen and roll for Steph. And, you know, everybody, all the bigs would make that run at Steph, and all of a sudden 2 would be on Steph for a second. That little pocket pass to Draymond, and Draymond straight down the gut. He's got to drive and kick more. Now, you know, you're right, because what's happening, they're switching, and the guy's just laying off him.
Yeah.
But then he's got to somehow learn how to take up that slack, spin off him.
post up a little more. Yeah. He can
Because
definitely make that difference.
he is at his best when he's playmaking. He's not really a scorer, never has been. When he's rebounding, pushing the ball. When he's playmaking, driving and kicking, and even getting the hockey assist, you know, the starting, just get it going. I don't see that out of him, and it just.
But we know that the best way to defend a playmaker is to make him a scorer.
Yeah.
And right now, Draymond he's a reluctant scorer. And the thing that we love about him is that he's a playmaker.
Come on, he could have had a
giver.
quadruple-double if he scored one more point. He came out the game.
Came out-
unselfish.
yeah,
He's
very-
the reason
very
why they
unselfish.
win.
Yeah.
Let's put that there.
Yeah.
But Like you said, you have to make him a scorer.
He's a reluctant scorer. He's not trying to get 20.
Right.
He's happier trying to help you get 20.
Yeah.
And now what the defenses are saying is, no. You got to get 20. Let's see if you can get 20, not tonight, but every night.
Yeah.
And you know who that hurts
Yeah.
in that thing more than anybody? Klay Thompson. Klay's not getting the amount of shots that he got with the drive and the kick and the swing and all that stuff. It's his inability to get downhill, draw defenders and throw has really hurt Klay, because Klay depends on that.
Yeah, so teams are saying, okay, we're going to stay home with Durant. We're going to stay home with Steph. We're going to stay home with Klay. Draymond, go at it.
Fire away.
Yeah. And hopefully, though, when he gets his partner Cousins back, we'll see a lot of this right here. This is DeMarcus Cousins one-on-one with KD.
Oh, KD.
And that's your former MVP, Finals MVP, KD, on the floor, who enjoyed it all in good fun. But the rich will only get richer. And we talked a little bit about the inconsistencies there in Minnesota. Well, the one constant, common denominator on their success, this man Towns. Let's see what he does tonight. We'll be right back. Players only, baby.
The big news around the NBA over the last 24 hours has been the firing of Wolves president and head coach Tom Thibodeau. The Wolves are under 500 and 2 games back of the 8th seed in the Western Conference. Interim head coach Ryan Saunders addressed the media earlier today.
Definitely didn't expect to be standing here. I'll first off say how much I respect Coach Tibbs and Coach Andy Greer as well. It's tough when you spend so much time with people, on the road or just in general, and then you see you're not going to see those people as much anymore. That's a tough thing. So I'm thankful for the opportunity, though, and moving forward, I'm looking forward to seeing progress on the court and helping grow this team.
Tuesday on NBA TV, it's players only, baby, as Dennis Scott would say. We've got a doubleheader starting with the Wolves and Thunder at 8 Eastern, followed by the Knicks and Warriors at 10:30. Your coverage starts right here at 7:30 with the Auto Trader pregame show. So to help me break down the first of that doubleheader, the czar, Mike Fratello, joins me to talk Timberwolves halfway through this adversity-laden season, we'll call it. What's a realistic expectation for this young team?
This was a team who was just starting to find its way, 5-3 in their last 8 games. One of their 2 young stars has been playing out of his mind lately, and that's Karl Anthony Towns. The last game, both young guys, Wiggins and Towns, go for 28 points apiece. When you look at their roster, it's kind of an interesting blend. You have 7 players with 5 years or less experience. Then at the other end of the spectrum, you have 4 players with 9 and 10 years of experience. But let's face it, obviously their future is Karl Anthony Towns and Wiggins. They've played exactly the same number of home and away games. They have 21 home left, 21 away left, as they take this 19-21 record. And yeah, they're not in the playoffs as it was tonight, but they're only 2 games out of the 8th spot. So Ryan coming in, taking over for Tibbs, he's got a tough assignment here, because now you've got to get these guys to buy in. And without knowing how much involvement he's had with these young guys, I would think he's had a lot of time with them in development, that type of thing. They know he's a basketball guy. He's done their scouting and preparation for them for a couple of years now. I would think that they would give him a lot of respect. He's got Ed Pinckney, Malik Allen alongside of him to help him out, and that's their job, to help this young man out. He's got an interesting challenge in front of him.
Well, you mentioned if the playoffs were to start today, they would be on the outside looking in. But because of the parity in the Western Conference through the first 40 games this season, is a playoff push realistic?
I think it's realistic, but obviously the key is health, injuries. Can they go through the second part of the season without any seriously long stretches of key guys being out? Get Covington involved, get Saric involved with this team since the trade took place. If Towns keeps playing like he's playing, that's a huge plus for a young guy coming in when you got a guy who's averaging over 28 points a game for the last 8 games.
Well, you mentioned the split right down the middle with home games and away games, and the next 8 games actually look exactly like that as well. They're split at home and on the road, starting with tomorrow night's matchup at OKC, before they then return to Minnesota to host the Mavericks and the Pelicans this weekend, a couple of teams that are also vying for playoff position.
If I was a head coach stepping in, okay, an interim coach, I would have picked a little bit different opponent than Oklahoma City for my first game to break in.
Yeah.
But welcome to the NBA.
Yeah, surprise. Welcome. All right, well, I'm going to head over to the other side of the court, and we're going to talk a little bit about, well, the flip side of this matchup, the Oklahoma City Thunder, with our Hall of Fame head coach, Kevin McHale. Coach, when you look at what's made the Thunder successful thus far this season, we talk, of course, a lot about the statistical performances that Russell Westbrook has put up in an MVP caliber season, but let's talk about Paul George and their defensive prowess.
Yeah, I like Paul George. Paul George is really playing well right now. He's at the level where everybody even defers to him. Even Russell Westbrook, when Paul gets going, they give him the ball and let him create shots for himself. And at late in games, they're giving the ball to Paul to finish out games for him. So I like him. But what I really like about OKC is their defense. You know, there's a couple things that they do. They lead the league in deflections, you know, so they're long and they get out in the passing lanes, and you're seeing right now Paul George knock down shots. And, you know, their ability to defend, though, is what got me excited. They get their hands on lots of balls, whether it be deflections, block shots, and it turns the points really quickly. They have Steven Adams in the middle that can really control the paint. And, you know, he's going to bump and bruise you as you see these guys get steals galore. And big Steven Adams holds down the paint. And then they can switch a lot of stuff. I like the teams that can switch. They not only switch, they switch to deny. So as picks come down, they get up and they deny the passes. That's why they have so many deflections. So I'm more excited about their defense this year than of anything else. I haven't really bought into OKC the last couple of years. They're just impossible for me to like. They play so well, then they play so bad at times. They're just up and down. But their defense right now has got me believing that they could really make a playoff run. You can beat people in this league with defense if you're dedicated and doing it. Now, I know it's an offensive league, but you can go out there, and they have the type of athletes that can get out, deny, and play really good defense on the perimeter.
Well, you're exactly right. We've spent the last couple of seasons, and especially last season, talking about when the Thunder were going to find their way. It was a team that was inconsistent to have so much talent on its roster. Do you see anything apart from its defensive consistency as the reason why they could be contenders this season in the West?
Yeah, I think that they can bring in and play Schroeder alongside of Westbrook, and I think that just gives them a unique ability. Westbrook can come off picks, get off the ball. Schroeder can handle the ball. He can get his own offense, but he can also distribute. And I just think less is more. I think, you know, Carmelo there, everybody was trying to figure out how to play with each other. Carmelo leaves that, opens up more opportunity for Paul George. And as I said when we started this segment, they believe in Paul George. They give him the ball late. They let him close games. Westbrook is deferring to him. And Russell Westbrook doesn't defer to many people, and he's deferring to him. And again, I just think that less is more for this team. But I believe in them, as I said earlier. I believe in them because of their defense. I like the way they D up.
Well, you just said it. Russ may not defer to many people, but he has become more of an offensive facilitator when you look at his numbers this season as opposed to the last couple. What has impressed you most about his play?
Well, you know, he hasn't been shooting the ball well
Right.
this year. But that's the thing I like is you can control the game. I always said you're really not a basketball player if the only way you can control the game is by scoring. Then you know what you are? You're a scorer.
Right.
If you're a basketball player, you can control the game and score 10, 12 points. I mean, you know, assist, rebound, defend, do all of these things. And, you know, Westbrook's a basketball player. And that's why I really like the guy. So he's not shooting the ball well. He hasn't been in a great rhythm. He started off with knee surgery, missing training camp and all that stuff. But I like the fact that he's kind of coming out, testing the water a little bit on some shots. And if he's not hitting it, he's just playing the game. There's many, many ways to win a basketball game. It's not all about, can I get 35 points? And Westbrook can affect the game defensively, offensively, rebounding, a lot of different ways. He's such a unique, powerful guard in this league, like the likes we haven't seen. You know, he's unique, and I like the way he's playing on the defensive end particularly.
Well, come with me.
Okay.
Center court.